Good morning, folks. So I wanted to go over a couple things that people sometimes don't think about. Uh, Anytime you're in a shift situation, you want to have a headlamp. Now I got this one out of Walmart. It's 20 bucks. You know, it's probably more than that now, but I bought it for 20 bucks. It has three different levels. It's got a spotlight, it's got a spotlight, and then it's got the wide angle. And the reason you want a headlamp instead of a flashlight is because you want to have your hands free, okay? And anytime you've been camping, you definitely understand what I'm saying when I say hands free. Because if you're inside the tent or you're inside your house with no lights, you want to be able to have your hands free to deal with whatever you're doing. So a good headlamp, this one's battery operated. It takes 3 AA's. So also have batteries on hand. I got the battery daddy-o right over there. It's full of batteries, right? And it's got a tester where I can test the batteries to make sure they're still chargeable. The next thing I want to talk about is alcohol. Now, whenever you buy alcohol for trading or to make tinctures, which is what I use this for, you want to get the clear alcohol, okay? You want the clear alcohol, and the reason for that is if you make tinctures, you want clear alcohol. And one of the ways that I make my tinctures is I go online, I write down the recipes for certain tinctures, but I also have this book that I bought, which I highly recommend that you get. It's one of the Lost Ways books, and it's called The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies, and it's by Nicole Apelion, who has a PhD, and Claude Davis. Both of these individuals were way smarter than me, and I highly recommend this book. It goes over. It has pictures of the plants. You can't go wrong with this book. I mean, it tells you what plants reduce fever, what plants are good for skin irritations, what plants prevent cancer. It just has all kinds of good information in it. So I highly recommend this book. And like I said, if you're buying alcohol, you want to check the proof on the alcohol, and you want to get the clear alcohol. Because when you make your tinctures, you want to use clear alcohol. Now, understand that tinctures take a while for them to set up. So you can make a tincture and it not be ready to be used for 6 months, right? Because it just takes that long for it to set up. Also, alcohol is a good trade item, right? Alcohol, cigarettes, these are good trade items. So if you want to store alcohol, you want to store it in a temperature-controlled area. I happen to store mine in the refrigerator. Okay, now you can use the brand name alcohol, or you can order the moonshine alcohol online. Okay, so you can have it delivered straight to your house. Nobody knows what you're getting. One of the companies that I use that's online is Blue Whiskey. And Blue Whiskey does have the alcohol, the moonshine, the clear moonshine, straight corn whiskey that you can buy and have delivered to your house. I can't say this enough. In a shift situation, if you don't have antibiotics, which you can get antibiotics for your house, you can get that from Jace Medical. Very good company, very reputable company, and you can put in the types of medications that each one of your family members uses, what each one of your family members is allergic to, and they will send you prescriptions that are good for a year in a case, and with a little booklet that tells you what to use those antibiotics for. But on a day-to-day basis, you're going to have to learn, and you need to do this now, you're going to have to learn how to make tinctures, you're going to have to learn how to make poultices, you're going to have to learn how to sew. In case you get somebody that cuts themselves, you got to sew it closed. So these are items that a lot of people don't think about, because they're not thinking about, well, if shift happens, there's not going to be a doctor. So you're going to have to do your own doctoring. And if you don't realize that, and you don't realize how easy it is to get botulism, how easy it is to get an infection which turns septic, it can kill you very quickly. Like I said, some tinctures can take up to 6 months to set up. So you want to try and get these items now. I recommend this book. There's many books out there. There's books on tinctures. There's books on herbals. There's books on backyard foraging. There's books on forest foraging. You can go to your local library and print out certain pages in books. You can't print the whole book, obviously, but you can print out certain pages in books that deal with this type of situation. And with the way the world is going right now, we've all heard about Israel and Iran. We're still hearing news about Russia and Ukraine, right? Yesterday in Somalia at the beach, there was a massive attack by rebels that killed a bunch of people. It's on Twitter. The world is very unsafe now. If you are by yourself in your home, you're going to have to think about how to doctor yourself. One of the kits that I have that I take with me everywhere I go is Refuge Medical IFAC. You can go on Refuge Medical and you can order the IFAC. Make sure that you get the optional tourniquets with that, and make sure that you have some kind of training on how to properly use that. Okay? Just because you have the item does not mean that you know how to use it. But my main focus today was on what kind of alcohol to use when making tinctures. You want the clear alcohol, and you want very high proof. So, 80 proof plus, right? If you can get 100 proof, like with absinthe, that's probably even better. You got to realize tinctures are used for colds. They're used for kidney stones. They're used for anti-cancer medicines. This is, everybody says, well, that's old-timey. We got all these medications now. Let me explain something to you. This old-timey medication was around for thousands of years before they ever had a medical profession. Okay? And in every village, there used to be a woman or a man who everybody would go to because they had that knowledge and it was passed down from generation to generation. I tend to fall back on what did our ancestors use to get through certain things. Let's talk. I'm gonna talk real briefly about it. I'm not a medical professional, so these are my opinions, and this is what worked for me. Uh, I got COVID in 2020. I called the VA. The VA told me, well, don't come in to be tested, because if you do, and if it is COVID, then you'll get, and or if it isn't COVID, then you'll get it by coming in, because there's so many people showing up with COVID. Uh, I used natural remedies. I used all natural tonic water with quinine, and I made my own tonic water. I used lemons and limes straight out of the backyard, and made a lemonade, and took the peels off of that with some grapefruit that I bought, and mixed that all together and drank that, and drank the quinine for 3 days, and it kicked it. Now that's what worked for me. I'm not saying it'll work for you. And in all things, if you're trying to do tinctures or you're trying to do herbal remedies, always fall back on people who know what they're talking about, right? Always fall back on your medical professionals. Always seek their advice before starting something or doing something. But we know that in certain areas of Africa, when they had COVID going through, it didn't have as big of an effect, because the people there were used to using quinine for malaria. So, as soon as people started getting sick, they fell back on using quinine, and it kicked it out of their system. Some people say to use ivermectin. That's up to you. I'm telling you what worked for me. I'm telling you what I talked to my VA doctor about, and my VA doctor said that there was absolutely no reason why I couldn't take that, and they offered to send me a kit with pills in it. I declined that and did it myself. So you need to think about common things that you're going to run into in a shift situation. A common thing you're going to run into is cuts and bruises. What do you do for a broken bone? What do you do if somebody cuts the tip of their finger off? What do you do if, you're out hunting and you fall down and you end up shooting yourself, right? You need to think about these things. You also need to think about marauders. What can you do to secure your property? When do you make the decision to leave your property, and where do you go? So you need a route for a bug out location, and you need to be physically fit. Now, the reason I say you need to be physically fit is, in a shift situation, eventually you're going to run out of gasoline. That's just the way it is. Eventually you're going to run out of gasoline. Eventually the lights are going to go out, and eventually you're not going to be able to drive places. So you need to be able to carry things on your back that have multiple uses. A small bottle of liquor with the knowledge of the herbs that you can use to make a tincture or tea, right? Chinese really believed in various teas. Same thing with the Japanese. But you need to know this information. So I use clear liquor for all my tinctures. And there's thousands of them out there for everything. You can make your own perfumes out of the flowers, right? You can take flowers and put it in some alcohol, shove a lot of flowers in there, seal it up, let it soak, and it can be used as a perfume. That's how they used to make some of the old perfumes way back when, right? So that's what I have for you this morning. I'm not going to be on the live stream with St. Bernard Acres this evening because I'm going en route to a company picnic today, and my company is giving away a brand new pickup truck to somebody in the company. So I'm in the running for that, and I hope I get it. Yay! But it's just I'm going there mostly just to hang out with other drivers and just have a good old time playing bingo, doing the cornhole bowls, right? And doing the hiking and things of this nature. So this is one of the things you need to think about and address. And a lot of people in the prepping community don't ever talk about tinctures. They don't ever talk about herbal remedies. They're always talking about stock food, stock water, get a solar generator, get a generator, get some way to heat and cool your house, yada, 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 right? And then they forget about what happens if the medical profession is not available. So, like I said, any kind of medical information or medical type of thing that you're going to do, you need to follow up with your primary care physician. You need to follow up with your doctors to make sure, because some people are allergic to certain things. And so, there's a 3-part method to checking various herbs to make sure you're not allergic to them. And I'm going to tell you those right now. Number 1, you want to take a small bit of that herb and you want to rub it on your fingers. Okay, you want to rub it in between your fingers so that you get some of the juice off the plant on your fingers. Do not wash your hand. Wait and see if you have any kind of reaction. The second thing you want to do is if you have no reaction on your fingers, then you want to take it and you want to take some of that herb and you want to put it on your lips, just on the outside of your lips. Rub it on the outside of your lips and see if you have any kind of reaction to that. The third thing you want to do with any type of new food is you want to take a small, very small bite of that, swirl it around in your mouth, and spit it back out. Don't swallow it. Spit it back out and see if within 2 hours if you have any kind of reaction. If you don't have any kind of reaction to those 3 steps, then more than likely it is safe for you to eat. But I also say take 1 bite, eat that 1 bite, stop. Give yourself 2 to 3 hours to see if you have a reaction. Always take these precautions when you're trying new foods or new herbs. The reason for that is some herbs, one of them being pokeweed, can be very toxic. And it has to be done, you have to cook it a certain way. You have to prepare it a certain way. And if you don't, you will kill yourself. And if you're allergic to it, that's a very bad way to go. So always be careful when doing tinctures. Always be careful when picking herbs and making sure you're doing your due diligence to make sure that this is not a poisonous look-alike. And always use clear liquor for your tinctures. Now you can use pure alcohol, but I found that that doesn't really, I don't really like those tinctures that way. I like mine with liquor, and that's what I use. So I hope that helps y'all. And we're going to have to get going here before too long. It's going to be a long day for me. We're going all the way up into the mountains. And it's going to be an all-day thing. And wish me luck on getting the pickup truck. Bicycle.